그러니까 더워서 PC방으로.
왜 있는 거야, 씨. 이해를 못하겠네. 진짜 나빠. 이혼이 아직 살아있다는 걸 보여주고 당연히 실제 보였으니까
아, 시원하게 살다 가야. 어? 요리? 피셔왔어, 엄마. 자, 이제 인터넷 좀 해볼까? 여기는 24번 524 자, 아이디는 한글로야, 한글로. 어? 알았어요. 또 어때요? 또 얼었어. 또였어. 완전히 막았어. 아이, 안녕. 그래, 에코 좀 울었어? 좋아요. 좋아요 눌렀어. 949야, 949. 야, 에이, 건에 못 사면 못 써. 1003이 넘어갔어. 아, 축하해. 난 지금 949야. 야, 940, 949밖에 안 돼.
나 이래용이야. 이거 그냥 당기자마자 씨발 이게.
왜 홍화성 작가, 홍화성 팀 작가 52분이나 벌써 좋아요나 눌러주고 조회수 95명.
내가 잘했잖아. 니 점퍼만 뭔데? 아, 쳐봐.
4.27일 1000명. 목소리 들어볼까요? 타이핑하고 얘기했어요. 1시 52분이나. 어디 가셨어요? 이게 전부야. 십속의 노래 보낸 못참필 5월 6일 25년
왜 이렇게 싶어? 아직 하고 있어. 내가 진짜
패밀리 김.
근데 이거 멜리 네.
이박 3일 2박 3일 이번 생활이
야,
야, 이거 독가이 저기 홍가이 뭐 거의 아니야 독가이 그쪽에서 지진이 많이 난다고 해야 되나? 그쪽에서 아마 그럴 것 같아. 거기 왜 어떤 섬 그쪽에서 반대편으로 이렇게 내려와서 그쪽에 쓰나미 일고 뭐 인구 그쪽에 쓰나미 일고 그럴 거야. 그쪽이요. 그 일본 만화에도 있더라, 야. 그 내용이 쓰나미 일고 뭐 그 하늘에 별 보고 일본 섬 하얀 나오고 가는 거. 그리고 이 일본의 그 원자력 발전소 터져갖고 오염지가 어때고 그런 내용이 만화책이 있어. 그 있더라고. 옛날에 읽었는데 그 내용 같던데. 그거 한번 다시 한번 들어보아야 재밌어. 어디서 나왔더라. 경주 이시 중앙하수회라고 경주 이시
말하지 마, 씨발가나. 나는 안 봤는데 개새끼야. 뭐하냐? 형, 뭐하냐고.
가난은 대물림 아니다 해서 홍화상 TV 작가 96회.
야, 고방.
행사 도중 공항 증세 블랙핑크 제니 공항장애가 있나 보다. 아우 제니라고 블랙핑크의 제니라고 하는데 삼성 저기 누구의 딸이라고 그런 것 같은데 그건 몰라. 크레스타 킴마리오? 킴마리오? 칠로피아. 이게 시청이 안 되는 것도 아니고. 카메라를 가리니까 시청이 안 된 걸로 나와. 군니치와 하세비. 야, 창 두 개 열었더니만 두 개를 카운트인데. 창 세 개 열었더니 세 개를 표시해요. 시청자. 이제 2명 시청 중이에요. 창 지금 4개 열었어요. 샤브샤브 새로운 식당. 안나 하샤우.
자기네 잘하는 줄 알아, 정말. 그게 존나 많아. 아니 이거 뭐
체력 보충 6회 비냉 6시간 전에 좋아했는데 육회 드셨나 보다. 계란에 육회 아, 그리고 비빔냉면도 하나 있구나. 육회하고 비냉하고 따도야 같이 있는 거야.
근데 이거는 부족했을 뭐야? 내가 두 명이고.
반바지 벗으나 반바지 여름바지 반바지 더워 땀만 흘렸더라. 그래서 나왔어. 에어컨 틀다가 아유 안 되겠어. 집에 있으니까 엄청 더워. 육회하고 비빔냉면까지 그러고서 물 한 잔 계란 보여주고 있어. 야, 트럼프가 10월에 방문을 하나? 여기 나오네. 채널 A. 트럼프 10월 방한 시 김정은과 판문점 회동 가능성? 북한 갑자기 3차 대전 경고? 트럼프 10월 방한 시 김정은과 판문점 활동 가능성. 김정은 눈물이 이유 채널에
한 거야?
10월 말 한국에서 열리는 APEC 정상회의 계기로 트럼프 앞에 정상회의 계기로 트럼프 미국 대통령이 방한하면 그 판문점에서까지 김정은 북한 국무위원장과 만나려 할 가능성에 주목했습니다. 북미 정상회담 이것일까요? 김정은 국무위원장은 러시아 이 파병 북한군 전사자 관을 쏟아두면요 눈물을 흘렸습니다. 들어왔다고 하네. 이게 언제쯤 얘기냐?
많이 안 팔리면 죽대는 거지? 너 일단 50개만 사는 거야? 그럼 집에 있는 50개가 온 거야? 쿠팡 쪽 석고에서 이거 가지를
이거를 이 맥을 사서 슈퍼 있는데 슈퍼 사고요. 그러다가 돈이 들어오지. 돈이 들어오는데 포장하고 있는 걸. 저희는 수십 보면은 근데 이거 입학하면은 근데 원래 이거는 내가 사이트 다른 사이트에서 이걸 올려놔. 돈이 들어오고 내가 직접 내돈
안동땡 근처 안동땡 안동땡 근처에서 저기 뭐냐 교감생이 죽었다고. 언제쯤 뉴스야 이거. 오래된 뉴스 같은데. 거기서 뭐 저기 하다가 자갈 인생 그러면서 있었던 거 아니야?
아니 시간이 왜 하고? 네가 아무것도 안 한대.
이건 안 한다고 그래. 이건 내가 한 거에 이건 내가 기본 쓰면은 이거 머리 들어가지고 근데 그거만 내가 받아줬는데
그러면 그 사이트에서 보내주는
일단 너가 이걸 내가 그걸 거야.
네가 그 사이트에 다 하고
하나를 주문을 해서 너한테 보내줘.
여기 피자 손 탔다.
근데 나는
그래도 5,000원이면 그래서 얘 지혜한테 이제 만 원.
옆으로 좀 쉬었어.
중국 거기도 만 원이라고 팔리더라고.
나도 그 생각을 했어. 이게 노래 사이트에서
제예집밥 415.
5,000원이라 했잖아. 감사님은 한
로스탄 전 국제형사법. 한국의 6.3 대선은 역대 최대 규모의 선거 강파 사건, 민복한 사격. 야, 한국의 6.3 대선 2025년도 6월 3일 날 한 걸 그렇게 얘기하는데 역대 최대 규모의 선거 강파 사건이라는데 이게 과연 최대인가? 아닐걸? 그전에도 강탈당한 거 하나 있을 거야. 아, 유해창 뭐 좀 한 거 그때도 얼마 있을걸? 대한민국이 이 선거 그걸 밝힐 수가 없어. 증명을 어떻게 할 거야? 그거? 증명을 해야 돼. 증명이 안 되잖아. 저거 인상 써봐야 소용없어. 저런 건 많아. 대한민국 역사 속에서 저런 짓이 한두 건 있는 게 아니야. 많이 있어. 오프라인으로도 많아. 당연히 그렇다니까. 야, 뭐라도 먹자. 뭐 먹으면서 살까?
와, 씨발.
헬스 다니니까 뭔가 괜히
여름에 더우면 컴퓨터도 커피 막
아, 이거 스포터 안 받고 잘 쓴다.
시골 가지고 나도 정말 깜짝 놀라더라고요.
그래서 네가 그냥 딱 살짝 병원상 느낌으로 컴플로 누가
근데
힘들
지금 잘 팔려. 또 내가 노트를
아니, 이거 목이 할 게 아니다. 허리를 해야 돼. 허리가 완전히 허리가 해야 돼.
리뷰하면 그 시간 할인
아이고, 허리에다.
그걸 처음
아, 진짜.
만약 와우웨어를 팔면
참새 TV 929 좋아요. 2.2만 명. 와. 안양 소년, 안양 소년 스피커 스튜디오, 안양 소년.
처음에 시작하려고 주문 들어올 때마다 네가 하나씩 사가지고 주문만 대신해주는 건데 주문이 들어왔으면 네가 주문 들어왔다.
샤브샤브 새로운 식당 거기서 육회도 먹고 비냉도 먹고 샤브샤브도 하고 그러는 거 보다야. 소주는 맞잖아.
There was a nonsense explanation given by the CEO.
그래서 맨날 나
Oh, this is special edition. Now, after you fold it, it bounces back. It's a real shame. Can I see the patent for that? Has there ever been such a that was only after the fold? There's no such thing. This is fiction. And the thing is, you show capture that. In this last lecture, he did young and good. The second, there's all is that incredible?
이게 사직이야, 이게.
아니 사직인데
난 합법적인 사직.
하자마자 튀어나오는 거 진짜
봐봐
이거
이거 좋다
들어가고 판매를 많이 줍니다. 필요하냐? 회사 얼마나 넣을까? 넣었고 벌써 안 넣었어. 이거 6만 원 정도 없어. 너 5만 5천 원, 5만 8천 원. 누가 많은 게 있어. 이거 일단 말하고 유명한 분
현금하고 종합금, 픽업 플라이, 내부페이, 카카오페이네. 신용카드 안 된다. 신용카드가 안 되네.
야, 쟤는 근데 시간 안 끌고 안 와. 너무 불쌍한 거 아니냐, 진짜. 나이스,
안 들어왔는데 씨발. 다 받아줘.
야 뭐야? 나왔어? 너 나오면
쟤 추워.
뭐야 이게? 아니 이게 뭐야?
나 그거는 오징어 게임. 좋아한다.
맨날보다 나아. 이렇게 나오네.
오! 그러면 나오겠다. 아, 똑같다, 이거. 아니, 이런 일들이 우리 팀이 진짜 오랜만에 있었어.
여기 와서
지랄. 어? 미친 새끼. 미친 새끼. 어떻게 했냐면. 야, 씨발, 근데 이거. 이게 뭐야? 와, 재규야. 너무 쟤 불쌍했다. 그냥 많이.
행복은 그런데.
야, 이게 어떻게 막 이게 잡고 해야 돼?
뭐야?
이게 잡고 하는 거니까.
옛날 뭐.
나도 알죠. 애들 같은 거 좋아하는데.
원래 일단 스나할 때는 승부도 있고. 예쁘게 느끼는 이거 일단 할 때는 진짜 뭐 저기거든. 근데 여기가 되게
내가 어디서 목소리가 들리는 것 같아? 소리 줄였는데.
재규가 진짜 너무 힘들었다, 그 친구. 맞아, 정말도 없다. 이겨냈잖아. 전점 맞아.
와, 진짜 못들 보이네.
지금 했어?
올라가.
목표를 몇 하나 해야 이거. 아, 66이면 이게 뭐, 그냥 요즘 좋다 저면 알지? 요즘 호민이 미드 전화 없어 알지? 장난 어떤 소리야? 이거 봐줘야 되는 거 알지?
또 기울어졌어. 쭉 내려왔나 봐.
너 붙잡혔어.
너 같은 경우
내가 내가 잘못 알고 있는 게 있다 이거라고. 내가 생각한 데가
여기서 왕자면 미친 새끼 이거 그냥 와 정민아 제발
그게 아니잖아.
여기서 내가 좀 찍어준 거 보이지 그냥 알아버려줘 바로 뽑아주면서 바로 해주면서 아니 전혀가 아쉽다고? 전혀 아니었으면 아니 지난주 대가리 도와줘 나 진짜로
이거 내가 이렇게
아 대가리 제발 안전하게 하는 게 맞아 바로 지금 봐봐
아니
정현
맞는 거 아니야?
지금 망타였잖아
계속 셀수 있는 하는 거지.
계속 지금 망타였잖아 와 진짜 아니 뭐 찡찡이 아니야
이거 내가
아니 진짜 애매하다 그리고 애초에 아 그래 이거 진이 수분이잖아 정현
뭐냐면은 이게 다르더라고. 이거는 내가 이거는 하지 않고 내가 운전을 쓰는
아니 존나가 많지 근데
그리고 이제 만약에 세대가 너가 사
제발 나만 오늘 강의잖아 저기 제발
사이트에서 이거 알고 이래도 이거 네 사람 거거든. 그래서 수수료를 내
나야
이거 내가 소통하듯이
오랜만에 이렇게 나왔어
올리고 내가 직접 하는 거지. 이거 사온다. 이렇게 하면 난 처음에 번역을 하더라고. 이게 맨날 복잡해. 왜냐면은 주문이 들어오면은 너가 직접 기분이라고 하나씩 주문을 했고
진짜 맛있어
그리고 없잖아. 하나 팔 때마다
여기서 이제 맛있게 끓여줬잖아 정현
3,000원이나 나.
기억 나시죠? 이제 맛있게 끓여줬어 이제 입장에 보자 이제 입장으로 봐야 돼
근데 큰 없지만은
이거 이제
처음에 이걸 하나 했거든.
제주가 안 보여서 제주가 안 보이잖아 이 형이 손놀이 왔다는데 그냥
얘 너무
여기서 그리고 여기서 내가 누가 먹으라고 먹으라고 돈 빼려고 들어갔는데 걔가 왔어 그래서 좋다
내가 콜라도 L이잖아.
누가 다 해.
말해도 돼? 아니 지금 씨발 천이거 아니 이거 정신밖에 못해야
나도 처음에 너랑 똑같이 말했어.
이거 안 되고 이거가 한 명이 간다면 거의 약 진짜 한 명이 가고 이거 맞아.
배고파야 이거
나 지금 그리고 제 사이버 600배 정도
근데 나는 이 새끼가 너무 선두 친게 사람들이 그나마 리뷰 좀 있는 걸로 살아. 거기서 진짜
클래스가 남들과
리뷰 좀 있는 게
그리고 해정 기준이랑 소수의
이거랑 이거 되게 경쟁을 하는 거지.
신상도
디자인이 맞아.
환영하는
근데 사람들이 딱 처음 너 처음 살때 리뷰 있는 거 그나마 거의 사까지 리뷰 있는 거 사는 게 낫지.
디자인이랑 이런 거
아니 디자인도
그리고 내가 봤을 때는
스폰서 광고가
내가
가지고
몰랐어
그냥 인터넷 그 코드
생각보다 올리는 거
아니 근데 좀 데이터 활용을 잘해. 어떻게 하는지 딱 알아버렸어. 멋진 걸 하도 보니까 이제 원래 내가 못하던 자료를 보니까 그래서 또 어그로 빼는 것도 이렇게 좋잖아.
멋있게 맛있게 그냥 아까
이게 이게 마진이 많이 남는 게 있어. 많이 남는 상품을 뭐 해야 돼?
아까 해봤는 거네.
이런 할 건데
그래서 더블더블로 들어가지만 이거 이를 내가 둘을 맞춤으로써 여기다 더블을 깔아주고 그리고 공으로 빼 그리고 더블로 다시 이런 느낌장이야. 이런 느낌으로 해야 되더라고. 이게 근데 불빛 소식까지 했잖아. 그러면은 이를 3번, 2번한테 맞춰서 더블 다시 들어. 그게 진짜 좋다 이게. 여기 요즘 제대로 다 괜찮잖아. 요즘 제대로 다 괜찮지. 이거 테스트가 또 카메라 발사하는 옛날 처음 봤을 때 이거 아니야?
아프리카 TV구나. 아프리카.
이게
weigh 1/8 less. In a populated area near a highway, an Airbus A300 crashes just the runway.
Tower, did you see that?
Neither pilot has survived.
We're a very small pilot group, so you start thinking about who it has been and exactly what happened.
After listening to conversations in the cockpit
He kept us high.
and running the flight through a simulator, investigators are forced to take a different approach.
That'll let me have an eyewitness sponsor in the hotel restaurant.
You can set yourself up for failure in a safety critical job like flying an aircraft.
It's an early summer morning when UPS Flight 1354 flies over Kentucky.
Autopilot 1 command.
Autopilot 1 command.
58-year-old Surreal Beale Jr. has been flying with UPS for more than 20 years.
UPS 1354, climb and maintain flight level 280. 1354.
37-year-old First Officer Shanda Fanning has been with the delivery company for 7 years.
They were respected, they were experienced aviation professionals, they were very representative of the type of pilots that UPS hires.
좋았지? 좋았어.
Tonight's flight from Louisville, Kentucky to
아유,
Birmingham,
라면이라도 먹어야 되는데.
Overnight cargo is product. Everybody's familiar with UPS and their next day air product. So if we have an airplane that's late, it may affect scores of our outbound flights. We don't have the luxury of booking our packages on the next available flight because the next available flight might not be for 24 hours.
the crew is flying the newest version of the Airbus A300, equipped with advanced computers and flight management systems to assist pilots. Shortly after reaching cruising altitude, the pilots receive a notice to airmen message.
NOTAMs provide information regarding hazards that you may encounter so that there are no surprises en route or when you arrive.
The runway they were expecting is closed for maintenance. They'll have to use an alternate.
They're saying 24 is closed. They want us to take runway 18.
Runway 18. Figures.
I know, especially since we're a little heavy.
Yep. I guess I'll review that.
The alternate runway is shorter. With the plane nearly at maximum weight, they'll have to carefully manage their speed and altitude approach.
정액권 3시간에 30분 차가
Pilots prefer long ways.
단골라면 공깃밥
Because with a
계란
shorter runway, there's not a
한
lot
개.
of margin for error.
3,500원.
Landing on runway 18 also involves a more demanding approach, known as a non-precision approach. In a non-precision approach, pilots pre-program the flight computer to follow a virtual glide path or descent profile to the runway threshold.
Non-precision approach is not practiced as much. The only times flight crews ever see them perhaps would be in training, a simulator, and then maybe once in a while on the line.
Verify the ride path, agrees with the approach chart within 1 degree.
Verify approach to point 1 degrees. When you're shooting a non-precision approach, your workload increases dramatically. You have to watch your airspeed, you have to watch your altitude.
28 minutes into the flight, UPS 1354 begins its descent towards Birmingham, Alabama. The crew is cleared to continue descending to 11,000 feet.
949야. 구독자가
UPS
940.
1354, we're going down to 11.
The general today, usually they kind of take it for 15 hours.
I know, they know just right.
Visibility is poor as the plane descends to 11,000 feet.
Already nice.
야, 무한 국제공항 그거는 없나봐. 끝났어? 제주항공.
UPS 1354 heavy, Birmingham Tower, descend and maintain 2,500. Runway 24 is still closed. You want to make
항공사고 수사들 보험사
cannot use the airport's longer runway.
Okay, turn right, join the localizer.
The last few minutes before landing,
UPS
for the flight crew.
UPS 배달 이거죠. 화물기기 UPS. UPS가 끝내줘 그냥 저 김포공항이나 인천국제공항 돌던 줄 갖고 타이어 맞추기 그렇지 싶다. 세율이 장난이네. 통착수 맞추기 새똥으로 맞춰. 훈련받은 새들이야.
Mission complete. Rewrite. Landing checklist is complete.
5 miles from the runway, the captain realizes something's not right. Unbelievable. Too high. The autopilot hasn't initiated its final descent to the airport. The captain tries to get the plane back on its program glide path. If the plane remains too high this close to the runway, the crew could overshoot it.
또 옆으로 기어났다 이거.
Instruments cross-checked. No flags.
The first officer sees no problems with the descent. 2 months ago,
Okay, runway inside.
the captain prepares to fly the plane manually to touchdown.
Pilots switch off the autopilot to land the airplane manually in a situation of a non-precision approach. It's a required maneuver to actually manually land the aircraft.
As they get closer to the airport, the pilots can't control the plane as it cuts through a small road. UPS Flight 1354 crashes just 1 mile short of the runway.
아유 고마워요.
Airport 12, it's gonna crash.
PS-13 heavy crash on the field. Attention, aircraft crash. 3 miles final runway 13.
걔는 이거 3,000원이거든요. 씨. 감사. 응? 고맙지.
Despite the plane coming down in a populated area and crossing a highway in Birmingham, Alabama, no one on the ground is injured. Tragically, both pilots are killed. Within hours, the National Transportation Safety Board begins the investigation.
라면 맛도 잘했다, 야. 맛있다, 야. 오랜만에 와서 먹는 거야. 오랜만에 와서 먹어. 뽁뽁이, 콩뽁뽁이 아같이.
The wreckage is spread over a large area.
Yes, I believe we did. It's here.
Investigators look for the four corners of the aircraft to determine if the entire plane has reached the accident scene.
Because it tells such a story about how the airplane struck.
Tail and right wing is found here.
Fragments of the left wing is down here.
All four corners are at the crash site. The plane was
야,
intact.
쟤네들은 저렇게 열심히 찾고, 위치 파악하고, 그러는데, 감히 그건 뭐 했어? 쟤 영화까지만 이거 보여주잖아. 이들은 뭐 하는 거야?
If the plane was intact,
국격이 다른 거야? 국가의 격이 달라?
difficulty controlling it prior to impact.
Just what we documented at the crash site.
Let's look at how these tails.
Impact marks on the trees may provide additional clues. It's critical for investigators to look at all the things that this aircraft may have struck. In this particular accident, we know that the airplane flung through trees. When you look at those trees, you want to see what the attitude of the aircraft was. Was it wing level? Was it rolled one direction or the other direction? Was it a very steep pitch attitude?
What the height of the aircraft was?
314, 43.1 feet.
Investigators use the height of the impact marks to determine the orientation of the plane when it struck the tree.
The plane is up. It's outside the
복잡수 같다. 수고하시다. 폭삭. 수고하시다. 폭삭. 망했다. 폭삭. 폭파됐다. 없어졌다. 일은 여긴가 보다. relationship for a long time. We had a bit of a long period for a couple of days, but it didn't last long. It didn't last long. A lot of respect for each other. And it's a great honor to be deep in Florida, in Florida Everglades, to open America's newest migrant detention center. It's incredibly built, and you're seeing that yourself. That's why I said, let the press join us. They've done a fantastic job. Well, I'd like to just thank everybody for the incredible job they've done. I love the state. As you know, Ron and I have had a really great relationship for a long time. We had a little off period for a couple of days, but it didn't last long. It didn't last long. A lot of respect for each other. And it's a great honor to be deep in Florida, the Florida Everglades, to open America's newest migrant detention center. It's incredibly built, and you're seeing that yourself. That's why I said, let the press join us on so we can see what's happening. It's known as Alligator Alcatraz, which is very appropriate because I looked outside and it's not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon. But very soon this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation. And one of these people is self-deporting back to their country where they came from. Quite a few were amazed at actually the number. We took the FEMA money that Joe Biden allocated to pay for the free luxury hotel rooms for these things, hundreds of millions of dollars in New York City, and we used it to build this project. And Toronto was just a little fraction of that money. The money they spent on that project. I happen to know the real estate developer is a very rough. He never really made that much, but he became very wealthy. With luxury, he didn't do well. With people that are not exactly luxury, he's made a fortune. I want to thank Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem and Florida Attorney General James Kuchmeyer. Where is he? He did a very good job. I hear good things about you from Ron. He's even a good looking guy. That guy's got a future. Good job, James. You really do fantastic work hard. Like in the construction business for a few days, right? Congratulations. For all the hard work and to make this facility.
미주의 샤워.
Thanks as well to Florida Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson. Where's Wilton? Thank you. Congressman Byron Donald. Florida Speaker of the House, Daniel Perez. Daniel, thank you, Daniel. Boy, you didn't want to sit up here with us? Executive Director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management, Kevin Guthrie. Good job. Acting Director of ICE, Todd Lyons. Todd, good job. And Senator Joe Reuters. He's a great guy. Where's Joe? We love Joe. Thank you very much. Thank you, Joe. Joe's great. With the help of those incredible Border Patrol agents, we now have the lowest level of border forces ever recorded. As you know, last month, the month of May, just got released 2 days ago. The number of illegal aliens into the United States was zero. Even I find it hard to believe that. Somebody must have got it. I don't know, but they say zero. And the people that count them are radical left Democrats. So when a radical left Democrat tells me it's zero, I believe them. But there's still much work to do. In the 4 years before I took office, Joe Biden allowed 21 million people. That's a minimum. It was much higher than that. Illegal aliens to invade our country. He invaded our country just like a military would invade. It's tougher because they don't wear uniforms. You don't know who they are. More than the populations of New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, and Philadelphia combined. That's what came into our country from prisons, from mental institutions, from street gangs, drug dealers. Disgusting. This enormous country-destroying invasion has swamped communities nationwide with massive crime, crippling costs,
and burdens far beyond what any nation could withstand. No nation could withstand what we did. And we're in the process of doing it, but we have some great people doing it now. You see them up here with me. But it's, I'd call it like an unforced error. It's sort of like men and women's sports. It's sort of like transgender for everybody. How could they have done this to our country? We're never going to forget it. Last year, 15% of all the hotel rooms in New York City were used to house illegal aliens at costs. They never got for luxury. They never got this much for luxury people coming in from the wealthiest places on earth. They made more money with the illegal immigrants, with many rooms costing more than $300 a night, 6 times the rent of a typical American family. In Denver, Colorado, the city was forced to cut $10 million from its police and fire department budget as part of a $90 million plan to house illegal aliens. And it's a population that's growing and growing and destroying Denver and growing. And again, it's destroying Denver. And it's destroying many other cities too. Likewise, one of the city's largest hospital system is drowning in unpaid medical bills, unpaid in the billions, after their emergency rooms were flooded with tens of thousands of illegals, leading to the closure of critical services. And these are really critical services. They can't even keep them open for American patients. The American patients are treated worse than any illegal immigrant. In Los Angeles, 1 in every 4 students in the public school system is from a household headed by an illegal, and most of them don't speak English, so they're in a school system, and they don't have interpreters, they don't have anything, they don't speak English. What a mess. What a mess. Unforced error. All of these people allowed to come out. The United States is now spending $78 billion a year on translation. Okay, think of that. $78 billion a year on translation and smaller numbers on special education programs for non-English speakers on the public school. So $78 billion. I think that's not a mistake. I would say $1 million. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. $78 billion, Joe, on translators and non-English speaking work. The federal government, the Justice Department, it's more than twice the cost of maintaining the United States Justice Department while we're spending on translation and other things to help. In total, the average illegal alien costs American taxpayers an estimated $70,000. That's each. $70,000. I think that number is even lower. If you care about balancing the budget, the single most impactful step we can take is to fully reverse the Biden migration invasion. One of the worst invasions we've ever had. We've never had an invasion. We've had invasions, but we're taking care of them. We've never had an invasion like this, and it's with us. And we have some very bad people out there who keep it doing harm. That's why the one big beautiful bill includes funding for 3,000 new Border Patrol officers and 10,000 new ICE agents. And I've gotten to know the Border Patrol and ICE very well. Unlike Kamala, she was the border czar, but she never controlled the border. She never made one phone call. She was some border czar. She would have been some president. Well, probably would have been slightly better than Biden, though. I had to run against both of them. You know? The one guy, it's like a fighter. You knock out the one guy who's doing badly, then they put somebody else in the point and she was a stiff also. Otherwise, I would have been very angry. The heroes of ICE will also help round up and remove members of the savage drug cartels which are coming back into our country. And we got them out now. Some of them came back in, we just got them out again, and that's going to be a vicious cycle. But these are foreign gangs and horrendous killers that have infiltrated our territory, including 8 which we have designated as foreign terrorist organizations, which gives us a lot more power and speed in getting them out. We had a great court victory on Friday that allows us to do what we have to do from the Supreme Court of the United States. In 5 months, my administration has already arrested over 2,700 members of the murderous Venezuelan gang known as Tren de Aragua, including a pack of these sadistic animals arrested last month with over 180 guns, and these are guns of the latest caliber. These are guns that were made over the last period of less than a year. They're brand new guns. the latest and the greatest. Every day our brave law enforcement officers are hunting down and deporting migrant criminals who have committed heinous crimes, including more than 11,888 to be exact, but I'd probably say the 13,000 is right also. Think of it, 11,888, and more than half of them they committed more than one murder. So Ron, many of them are out of here already, but it's still it's a hell of a number to be confronted with. Just this year, ICE agents in Miami have apprehended illegals with arrests for murder, kidnapping, rape, child sexual abuse, and arson, people of the worst order. We're getting these monsters out of the United States, out of Florida, out of all the places that they're in. And on January 20th, they signed an executive order empowering governors and state police to be deputized to enforce federal immigration laws. And Ron's already taken advantage of it. It really is a tremendous advantage that the states, most of them are doing it. Actually, the blue states tend not to do it. Even a couple of them have, though. And I want to express my tremendous thanks to the state of Florida for embracing this opportunity and being a true partner. They've worked so well with the federal government. It's been just a beautiful, beautiful partnership. So, Ron, I'd like to thank you personally. You're my friend, and you'll always be my friend. And we may have some skirmishes even in the future. I doubt it. But I will always come back because we just seem to, we have blood that seems to match pretty well. We have a relationship that's been a very strong one for a long period of time, and I appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. And also, Secretary Noem, I'd like to say, have you say a few words. You have been unbelievable, the job you've done. You and our favorite person, Tom Holman, have done, and your whole staff, because it's a lot of people, and Tom acknowledges it all the time. He respects you so much, he respects the staff that you both know. And you're really doing one of the great jobs, and it was great that you could work with Ron or Florida so well. Built such a great facility, so please say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to thank you for putting the safety and the security of the American people first. And the way that you never lose focus on making sure that America stays a priority and that the families that live here get the chance to grow up and to raise their children in communities that are safe and that give them an opportunity to pursue the American dream. This facility here is a fantastic representation of what can happen when all of government works together and when it's accountable to the taxpayers and to the citizens that live here. The President signed an executive order that allowed us to build partnerships with states and with local law enforcement officers, which is exactly how things should function in this country. More power, more authority given to people locally so that they can take control of their own destiny. And so we have already been working under the 287G program to deputize law enforcement officers, whether they be state highway patrols, local sheriff's departments in all of our states, and allow them to go out with our ICE officers, our border patrol officers, and make sure that we're getting the worst of the worst off of the streets. We also recognize that as we've been doing that and returning people back to their home countries, that we need detention facilities. We need beds to put them in place so that they can have their due process before they return home. And this facility is exactly what I want every single governor in this country to consider doing with us. What happened to start this conversation was a young man named Jimmy Percival in my office, my general counsel, who came from Florida just to work here, called up the Attorney General and the governor and said, hey, what do you think about partnering with us on a detention facility that we could put in place that would allow us to bring individuals there. There's an airstrip close by. You guys volunteered the assets that you have and the connections that you have and worked with Kevin extensively so that we could come here, have their due process given, and return them home to their countries. And in 8 days, this facility has been stood up. And I want everybody to recognize the detention facilities that ICE adheres to is a higher standard than is required at state levels, at local Department of Corrections facilities, sheriff's offices. This is a state-of-the-art facility, air-conditioned, isolated though for security purposes, which is very helpful. And I appreciate so many people being willing to work together to make a project like this happen. Right here on this location, we'll have about 3,000 beds. Other location will have another 2,000 beds that will allow us to bring individuals across the country that we are bringing in and incarcerating for violating our laws and immediately get them out of the country as soon as we possibly can. It's exactly what we need to be perpetuating in other states. And what I would say is, I want all of you to notice these flyers that we've got. Is that everybody who sees these flyers or anybody who sees these news clips should know you can still go home on your own. You can self-deport. If you go on the CBP Home app and go home now, you will get the chance to come back to the United States legally. You will get the chance to come back and do it the right way. If you don't, you may end up here. And you may end up here and being processed and deported out of this country and never get the chance to come back. That is the consequences of breaking the law in the United States of America. Listen, our job is to uphold the law. This is a country of laws. We have a border now, and because we have a president that cares and recognizes that we need to be a nation of borders and a nation that upholds the law. If you break the law, there's consequences. We will deport you and you will never get to be a United States citizen. You'll never get to come back here and work and to pursue the American dream. But if you decide you want to go home now, go home. And we'll help facilitate it. We'll buy your plane ticket. We'll get you there. In fact, I just got back from Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras. Those countries are excited to get their citizens home. They're setting up programs to loan them money to buy houses when they get there. Help them with food assistance, get their children educated, scholarships. They want their citizens that are living here in the United States illegally to come home and to be a part of their economy and help their countries grow. So this is a win-win for everyone, and I just want to end, Mr. President, by thanking our law enforcement officers, by thanking our ICE officers and our Border Patrol officers for what they do every day. They are out on the streets, and violence against them has increased over 500%. Since Trump has gone back into the White House because he's upholding the law and because a bunch of liberals, socialists, and Marxists are out there lying about what President Trump is doing. Upholding freedom by freedom to live safely in this country and to do things legally and to have justice. And because those liberals, and I'm calling out you, CNN, I'm calling you out because you lie every single day about what these operations are. We are going after murderers and rapists and traffickers and drug dealers and getting them off the streets and getting them out of this country because Joe Biden let the worst of the worst come in here. The other day I was talking to some marshals that have been partnering with ICE. They said that they had detained a cannibal and put him on a plane to take him home, and while they had him in his seat, he started to eat himself. And they had to get him off and get him medical attention. These are the kind of deranged individuals that are on our streets in America that we're trying to target and get out of our country because they are so deranged they don't belong here. And they shouldn't be walking the streets with their children. And they shouldn't be living in the communities with their families who just want to grow up, go to job, to raise their children to grow up and get a job and to live the American dream. So thank you to all of our law enforcement officers, those in our military that have been helping, our National Guard. Thank you to Governor DeSantis for stepping up and being an example to other governors. I hope my phone rings off the hook from governors calling and saying, how can we do what Florida just did? How can we do exactly what they did? Because we need this big, beautiful bill. We absolutely have to have this big, beautiful bill that has the funding so that we can continue this operation and we can get those bad criminals off of our streets and have the officers to do it so that when they go out on an operation, somebody's got their back. Somebody's got their back, they can do it safely, and they can go home to their families at night too. So this bill needs to pass through Congress so we have the resources at the Department of Homeland Security to make sure that our homeland truly is secure. Mr. President, thank you for Stephen Miller. I just want to thank you for him. This guy calls me night and day and tells me all of his wise advice and wisdom, but he's a rock star because he loves this country and he's passionate about making sure that nobody is prioritized over an American citizen. We love everybody. We do. We love everybody.
Not everybody. A lot of
But we shouldn't be putting people illegally above citizens. We should be making sure that we do things right. And that's what America has always stood for, and we're an example to the rest of the world because we do it right. So, Mr. President, you surround yourself with great people, and I think that's because everybody wants to work for the greatest president that the United States has ever had, and that's President Donald J. Trump. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I have to say that You know, when Christie's name was put before me by Tom Homan, by the way, because I wanted him for the border, and somehow I thought I was going to be good in that circle. But he didn't want the upper job, and I said, who do you recommend? Christie Nolan. I said, oh, yeah, she's great, but she's such a fine, elegant person. She's tough as hell. I said, you are tough as hell, I'll tell you. And then you do it in a very nice way. But you if you ever saw her ride a horse, she rides a horse like she should be in the rodeo. She's like an unbelievable horse person, and you have done a fantastic job. And Steve really would agree with him. He likes nobody, by the way. I don't think he likes anybody. And another one we like is Ron. And Ron, will you say a few words, please?
Sure. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Welcome back to Florida. And I think this is the first time you've been back since the events of a couple weeks. So I just like to say, as somebody that was serving on active duty in Iraq back in the day, we witnessed the number of our troops that were killed or wounded by the Iranians. We know that they're a militant Islamic regime that was hell-bent on getting nuclear weapons, and under Joe Biden, they were about to get nuclear weapons. And because of your strong actions, those dreams and those ambitions have been reduced to rubble. And I thank you. I know a lot of veterans thank you, and people in Florida really thank you for stepping up and really making a strong, tough, but strong decision. I think we're much safer as a result of that. Now, on the immigration, I think President Trump's election represented the chance for us to finally solve this illegal immigration and border problem once and for all. I knew he was going to do the border, although he did it very quickly and very thoroughly. I think that no one can say that that's been anything but a spectacular success. But then we have the issue of Biden let in how many millions of people? And you had millions that had been in over decades previous to that. You can't have a country if you don't have respect for the rule of law. You can't have a country if foreigners get to decide who comes in. No, we, the American people, make that decision who's allowed or not allowed to come into our country. We've seen Europe be overrun by open borders, so we're not going to let that happen here. So when the president got elected, I knew that the states had an important role to play in facilitating this really, really historic mission. We're the only state in America, in Florida, that requires full cooperation with ICE from all state and local law enforcement entities. And what is the net result of that? We have these agreements for these 287G task force with sheriff's departments, police departments, state agencies, and it's really instrumental in rounding up a lot of really bad people who shouldn't be here. If you look at the number of those full-blown 287G agreements that have been executed around the country, the state of Florida accounts for 60% of those. If you look at the number of immigration arrests of illegal aliens on any given day, the arrests happening in Florida constitute between 15 and 20% nationwide. So we're all in on this because we understand how important for our citizens. It crowds schools, it crowds medical, it crowds housing. Yes, you have illegal alien crime as well, and people want the problem solved. And the only way we're going to solve it is if states like Florida step up and help the president, help Secretary Noem get the job done. Now, this facility here was really in response to us working with DHS and ICE from the time the president got sworn in. And the number one thing they kept coming back to was, Biden decimated the agency. I mean, let's just be clear. You could have illegals in Florida. Biden would just release them. Even when they had notices or they had orders to be removed, Biden wouldn't send them back. So their interior enforcement collapsed under Biden. So they're building it back up. They're like, we need detention space in order to be able to bring about more deportations. And so what we have here is can hold 3,000 now. We have 2,000 facility up at Camp Landing that we're going to be open, which is our National Guard site. But think about what you have here. They come here, say they're in order to be deported. You drive them 2,000 feet to the runway, and then they're gone. It's a one-stop shop. And this airport that's been here for a long time is the perfectly secure location. It's going to make a big difference. And let me just thank everyone who was involved. We got the call from DHS a little bit more than a week ago. And here we are 8 days later with this facility open. And as soon as Air Force One departs, it'll be swept and it'll be open for business to be able to do. But our goal here is to process them and be able to effectuate their return to their home country. This is the opposite of what they were doing in New York. by just putting them up in a hotel and then just letting them stay there indefinitely. No, we want to be able to send back. And when you walk into the processing, the president and I, Secretary Noam Guthrie, walk through that initial intake, the first thing you see is information on how to go home on your own. Why would you want to come through Alligator Alcatraz if you could just go home on your own? I think a lot of people are going to make that decision. So you're going to have a lot of deportations that are going to be done by the administration. But I think you're going to have voluntary as well. So this is a force multiplier for the president's efforts. I would just say and echo what Secretary Noam says. There is no reason why other states can't be doing it. And I know Louisiana, Texas, a couple of them. But we've got how many? If only the red states did this, they would be able to expand their capacity by tens of thousands, maybe 50, 100,000 on a given day. That's how you really start to make a difference. And so we're proud to be able to partner with the Trump administration on that. Thanks for coming down. I think you highlighting this is going to move the needle in a big way throughout the country, and I think it's going to help all of us achieve the really big results that I think our voters want to see.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity. My name is Kevin Becker, Executive Director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management. I'd also like to thank President Trump, Department of Homeland Security's Secretary Noam for joining us here today and for the continued support. I want to thank first by thanking the man to my right, and that's Governor Ron DeSantis, whose bold leadership and swift action made this project possible. With make no mistake, this facility would not be standing here without the President, the Secretary, and the Governor's vision and determination to uphold the rule of law. Florida is and will always be a law and order state. Even before the President took office, the Governor made it clear that illegal immigration would not be tolerated in the state of Florida. When the President and the Secretary asked Florida to help, the Governor empowered our state and private partners to work collaboratively and deliver real results on a rapid timeline. The Florida Division of Emergency Management is best known for leading the nation in hurricane response and other natural disasters. We understand how to act fast without bureaucracy in the face of any emergency. Our teams built roads in 8 hours, bridges in 3 days, base camps in 72 hours, and full causeways in 2 weeks. Getting things done quickly, efficiently, and correctly is at the core of our mission. We simply just want to be the best at what we do in the nation. When the Governor called me, we answered. And we are proud to bring our logistical expertise to the table. We know how to set up base camps, volunteers, and other aid sources, and distribute that in a matter of days. We're able to translate this knowledge to what we did here at Alligator Alcatraz. It has put the best teams together. Individual logos and egos at the door. For you, Governor, but Mr. President, for you as well. There are over 13 different vendors that came together to get this solved in 8 days. Truly a whole private sector partnership to get that done. Behind you on these boards, in only 8 days, we have built a fully compliant detention facility with a detainee capacity of up to 3,000 people, with room for additional capacity if you ask us to do so. The detention facility includes over 158,000 square feet of housing. It is a fully aluminum frame structure rated for winds of 110 miles an hour or a high-end Category 2. For those people that don't think that we're taking that into consideration, this is part of that. Power supply is fully redundant with backup generators in place. We put a staff village here on site with a capacity of 1,000. Our services are hot meal 3 times a day, 24/7 medical facility, pharmacy, air conditioning, access to indoor and outdoor rec yards, legal and clergy support services, laundry. Our security element is over 200 security cameras throughout the facility, more than 28,000 feet of barbed wire, 400 plus security personnel to include 200 men and women, soldiers and airmen underneath Major General John Haas's command as the Adjutant General of Florida. And it's all surrounded, as you pointed out, Mr. President, by 10 miles of beautiful Florida Everglades. Contingencies, as with all state correctional facilities, we have a hurricane plan. We will not wait for a Cat 2. We will follow normal evacuation procedures, as we do for any other facility statewide, in our great state of Rhode Island. We have on-site fire and EMS resources so that we do not locally, we don't burden the locals with any type of response. All in all, sir, this has been a perfect state logistics for this hurricane season. Everything we did here the last 8 days, God forbid, every other hurricane, we're going to do our best. This was a dress rehearsal for us, and we are ready to able to support you, sir, your governor, secretary, and everything that you need us to do. Just a week ago was a taxiway to the world, and now it's a fully functioning facility. We're happy to support Mr. President, your governor, secretary. Sure,
so that nothing will deflect them from the way.
First of all, Mr. President, we all have to thank you for your leadership and for the mandate that the American people gave you to finally secure our borders and to deport criminal illegal aliens and long-standing illegal aliens out of the United States. That is a mandate given to you by the American people. I know Secretary Hill, Stephen Miller, Governor DeSantis, myself, on behalf of the other members of Congress in the Senate, and of course here in Florida, we are behind you 100% in that mission. To the Governor, I really appreciate you and commend you for your leadership on this, taking swift, decisive action to building this facility. One of the things that has occurred because of the work you did earlier this year with the legislature is that our sheriffs are out there every single day. They are arresting these criminal aliens in our streets, and they're seeing some backlog in their jails. So this facility primarily goes to address some of that backlog and then to help us fulfill the mission of the President has led us to. So Governor, thank you for your leadership and thank you for your decisive action on this. It really does mean a lot to all the people of Florida, of course the people of the 19th Congressional District. Secretary Noem, I mean, what can I say? The President's right here, double tough. So we appreciate all your leadership. You and Tom Homan have been doing a great job. And I'm actually going back to D.C. after this because we have to vote on one big, beautiful bill in the House. We have to get that to the President's desk so we can get you the resources that you need to fulfill the mission that the American people have asked us to do. I totally agree with what Mr. Guthrie has said. This is a logistical marvel when something like this occurs. We've seen the Florida Department of Emergency Management answer the bell time and time again. The governor has said we need to accomplish this, and DEM gets that job done. And we had a side conversation about, I know there were some concerns. We were like, well, what happens if a hurricane comes? What happens if this happens? And I looked at Kevin Guthrie and I said, you already have a plan, don't you? And he goes, of course we have a plan. You know that we do. This is what Florida does, Mr. President. And so I want to commend you for your leadership and your vision on this. Thank you for all that you've done with your vision and determination. Secretary Noem, we're going to get the bill done and get the resources you need. See, sir.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you. You know, I'm waiting, listening to these wonderful words, and they are music to my ears, but I was also wondering how we're doing, because I know this is part of that. It shows that I care about you, because I'm here, and I'm not going to you do care. Thank you very much. James, please. Real happy.
I'd like to speak on behalf of all of our sheriffs, state law enforcement, our police chiefs. We are going to continue to make arrests of felons to the metal, as many as we can. We want to fill this place up. The governor and Kevin have shown they can build bridges in 3 days, so why not some detention facilities? Hopefully there's more to come. And you really kind of the inspiration for this. We like the idea of reopening the original Alcatraz. I don't know if that can happen. We thought, hey, we've got our own natural Alcatraz in the middle of the Everglades. Great runway, great perimeter. So let's make it happen. In Florida, we walk the walk and we will deliver for all of you.
Well, I heard you were responsible for the location of the place, and you cannot have picked a better location. I said, what the hell made this choice? I know you're taking a little heat from some environmental groups, but I take it all the time. That's an honor. But I hope you were very responsible for that choice, and that was a good choice. Thank you very much. Great job, James. Thank you. We want to finish over here, and then we'll go over here, and we'll go back and celebrate the big, beautiful bill that we got discussed last. You sure that's right? Right, Brian? All right. Wow. He's doing a good job.
Mr. President, first of all, I just want to say how grateful we are that you're back here in your home state of Florida. You've been doing an amazing job, not only at our border, but around the world, keeping this country safe, Americans. We are grateful for your leadership. God had a plan for us, and that's Donald Trump. So thank you for that. As a member of the Immigration Board and as the Commissioner of Agriculture of this state, I've been happy to help lead with the governor and the rest of the cabinet hold this issue. We're very proud of Secretary Knowles here today and others to represent not only the United States in our efforts to make this commitment and keep our citizens safe, but we're going to continue in toiling with these area to have your vision come true of a safe United States. We're going to get these illegal criminals out of this state, and we really appreciate you and your leadership in this effort. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. You're doing a great job, too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joe Gruters, State Senator. I'm a member of your Homeland Security Advisory Council, your Vice Chairman. Thank you for that appointment. And thank you for coming back and forth and everything that you do. Every single day you are delivering on the promises that you promised to us at all of the events you've done throughout the years, but specifically this last campaign. You deserve all the credit for everything, and you were surrounding yourself with incredible people like Secretary Knowles, Stephen Miller, and just like your big beautiful bill here in Florida, there was a lot of commotion about our immigration bill, and we had 3 B's in that. Badges and bad guys, and this goes right along with our beds and the resources. And I give the governor, Ron DeSantis, a lot of credit for stepping up and making sure that we all work together, because at the end of the day, even if sometimes there are skirmishes, as a result of the back and forth, we ended up with a better bill, and we all win. And what we're doing here in Florida hopefully will happen all across the country. You've done, your leadership is amazing. Keep up the great work, and just know that Florida loves President Donald J. Trump.
Trade by American people. Appreciate it. For a long time. Appreciate it. By the way, Okeechobee is something we did together also. That was biggest break for billionaires ever seen. Lifting healthcare away from billionaires of America. How would it go?
You can delegate that to us because we move faster than the Army Corps. So we will finish that reservoir. If you delegate it to us, I'll get it done in much quicker.
I would do that. Let me ask myself permission. Permission granted. Go ahead, get the thing, get it complete.
All right, we're gonna go talk to the Army Corps, and then after that.
Good job. People get sick and die. This will go hungry. And the debt will explode together.
Well, sir, on behalf of the men and women of rights, we just want to thank you for allowing us to do our job again. You know, your vision and our Secretary of Home's leadership, this is what the American people want. And I hope that you see great results of what we're doing out there every day, we're seeing us out there in our communities. Because of you, Secretary of Home, I have the privilege to lead one of the most premier and finest law enforcement agencies that we do have in the United States. And the men and women of HSI, ERO, Miami, do incredible work like you highlighted. And with the governor of the state of Florida, the partnership that's involved with innovation, the 287G program is only going to help us to identify all those known gotaways, get the worst out of neighborhoods. It's through our Homeland Security Task Force, we are going to make America safe again. So thank you very much for you and the Secretary.
Thank you, Jeff. Great job. Really great job you're doing. Thank you.
We Democrats will make sure that
Good morning, Mr. President. Thank you so much for coming. Again, as Garrett Rippon, the Field Office Director for ACRO, here for the Miami Field Office. Incredible collaborative work we've been doing together, working with the state, working with our local partners. And again, just the 287 G's that open up that aperture and allow us to get those bad hombres off the street and into this facility. And we're looking forward to it. Again, just appreciate all your support.
Always thank you. Those who are so great. Thank you very much. Please.
the previous one that's State Attorney for 12
Good afternoon, Mr. President. On behalf of the able continues to execute its military executive orders their operations bringing capability to both the air and maritime domains, and in partnership with our Border Patrol, local officers, and ERO, we continue to conduct effective operations both interior and along the border and along the maritime. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Jose Figueroa. I am the acting special agent in charge for homeless spirit investigations here in South Florida. Our office covers from Key West to Fort Pierce. Many collaboration here with the state, federal partners. HSI is conducting criminal investigations into the TDA and other teams are involved in sex trafficking of minors. That has worked with your support. Thank you very much for this visit. Looking forward to continuing your work.
Thank you very much. Steve, would you like to say something? Our star.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say on a personal note, getting to watch what you've done over the last 5 months to deliver on a 50-year Muslim dream of the American people to secure the border. When President Trump came into office on January 20th, the United States had endured the largest wave of illegal immigration in human history. Not just American history, but human history. And within just a few days, President Trump, through his strength and leadership, deployed the secret vision, achieved the most secure border anyone in the world has ever seen. When we recently went overseas to the NATO summit, I had senior staff at foreign governments come up to me and ask me how he achieved the Trump miracle on his border so that he replicated in their countries. But for individuals who don't work in this space, who have zero
알리게이터 아작스즈 아스 이제 성평을 까먹었다
There's a 2,000 mile border with one of the poorest countries in the world, and you have open travel from 150 countries into Central America and South America. There are 2 billion people in the world that would economically benefit from illegally coming to the United States. And through the deployment of the military, through the deployment of novel legal and diplomatic tools, through the building of physical infrastructure, through the empowerment of ICE, Border Patrol, and the entire federal law enforcement apparatus, President Trump achieved absolute border security. And now, once this legislation is passed, he will be able to make that with those resources permanent. Watching what we've done today is of a lifetime.
Well, the first thing you should do is come here and learn something.
And what President Trump is going to achieve next, the resources that he's built,
And if they did it,
will make America safer,
so I would say you should go
in Florida.
Thank you, sir.
They have the original
is going to be great. They're going to be great.
set one of these up over there. I'm sure the secretary is happy to do that and provide time. My sense is he's probably not going to bite on that. But I don't know that they'd be able to come in and cause because, they tried to do this high-speed rail. They spent like $150 billion to privately fund the rail. Florida for Miami and Orlando cost the taxpayer $0. So it's just a much different approach.
Facilities like that. We're not going to let him get anywhere near Alcatraz. Now, the other really good studying this process.
Tomorrow, within the next 2
At some point,
There's going to be a security seal because there have been civilians here, so they will sweep this multiple times to make sure there's nothing immediate as weapons or any contraband. And then once that's
야,
cleared,
GULF.
Secretary, I know, has got people in the queue and stuff, they'll be ready to receive them.
No, this is air conditioning facility, so if any of the news claims are keeping it up in the hot here in South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 60 degrees.
GULF, OF, 아메리카. GULF는요.
These people come in here, they want to go home. So I really think it's somebody to ask where somebody's a real killer here. I'd like to say, look, we inherited from this guy this incompetent mess and his administration, which wasn't incompetent, it was radical left.
GULF는 찾아보자. GULF는 뭐야?
What they made us do. This is open business. An open world where 25 million people live. All over the world, all over the world. for no reason whatsoever. We had, when I left, we had a very powerful union government. He opened it up, and they just opened the border. People couldn't believe it. They were standing there. What they do? They said, "Go." That's it. You look at the first day, they opened it up and they said, "Go." But this is an amazing thing that they've done.
걸프네, 걸프. 겔프. 아메리카만 시면 수영보이 걸프 그러네 영어 걸프.
But the number one question that I heard from people in response to my video was, why was it so they get brought to the front doorstep here, they still have the opportunity to just go back voluntarily to this way they're not asking for years. And so people want accountability.
걸프와 베이 차이라고 하는데 야 근데 이거 걸프 오브 아메리카라고 했거든요. 걸프 오브 아메리카 멕시코만을 지워버리고 아메리카만이라고 하는 걸 걸프 오브 아메리카라고 하네. 멕시코만이 아니라 멕시코만을 하지 말고 걸프 오브 멕시코가 아니라 걸프 오브 아메리카. 과테말라, 칸쿤, 퀴스트, 워스틴, 달라스, 멕시코만 하지 말고 멕시코 시티인데 아메리카만으로 아메리카만.
They know these people. They've worked on the farms for 15 years, and all of a sudden. So I have a great, I think Ron does, Christy does. We have a great feeling for the farmers and for others in the same position. And we're going to give them responsibility for people. And we're going to have a system of signing them up, so they don't have to go. They can pay taxes and everything else. They're not getting
Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, Gulf of America.
Without those people, you're not going to be able to work your farm. You and the governor tangled pretty hard in
2025년도 2월 9일 날 걸프 오브 아메리카 데이 2025년도 2월 9일 날
I think it's a 10. Maybe 9-9, because there might be a couple of little ones. So maybe it's
페브리 주 9은 2025년도
really happy to do that, and then we work very well on this and other issues with Florida. You can call him at any time. And when they have individuals that they have researched that they have taking advantage of their programs to help them become a part of their civilization again too. So we know it's over a million, but we have to get more information, and that number will grow.
Sorry, like another thing, we have to take them out. How are you going to be able to ending? They never get a chance to learn from you.
But he wants it to. He's coming here next week. He wants to end it too.
Thank you.
We had a tremendous success with Iran. Somebody said, when are you going to sign?
Already hearing some Republicans in the House who say they cannot get on board with the changes that are
Did you see
made to
the
the bill
report
in the
issued this
Senate.
morning? Years before anybody even
Gulf of America.
That's not a priority, but we'll have a report and whatever we want. We'll get whatever we want from Iran. And I think tonight, they want to have a good discussion. They have massive sanctions right now, fighting the sanctions. It's going to be very hard for them to do anything with those sanctions.
Not to cut Medicaid,
I look
said this
forward
is
to
all
maybe
just
there'll be a
targeting
time when
waste
we can
fraud and
accomplish
abuse.
something.
Are you saying that the estimated 11 million people could lose their health coverage, that's all waste fraud and abuse?
I think we'll have a deal next week, and that number will be waste fraud and abuse.
successor to Jake Medicaid earlier than say, or say to someone.
They had a tough stance in the weeks. Will I do something about not a very strong stance on that stuff, and it's been always important. It's like everybody wants to get
What number is that? What analysis are they using?
I'm not saying it's a question, it's much less than the rate way up. I think it's stuff that I use in the things. So we're the strongest country. Medicare and Medicaid. Our country right now, and we are going to say that we haven't seen the Democrats in 40, 50 years. What we're doing now is nobody's seen anything like it. And they have to I told you, in the Middle East, the king of Saudi Arabia said he'd be very strong. He said, you know what? A year ago, you guys damn country will be in the country. I know we do with the Medicaid for Medicare for Social Security. Thank you. We'll be seeing it over the next one. Also, those type of
What is your direction to us when it comes to arresting farm workers here lately, other workers in industries that are pretty critical to Florida's economy?
Well, we're very much cognizant of that, and as you know, I won the farmers by 92%, and I'm not going to be abandoning
One way out.
but we're also strong for the farmers and for others in the hotel industry, etc. You know, we have similar situations, and Christy and I, and we're working with Ron and a lot of the states, we're going to work something where the farmers can be responsible for some of the people that have people around for 10, 15 years. We're going to put them responsible and have an issue or form of a card or document, and the farmers are going to be responsible for these people. They're not going to have citizenship, but they'll be working, they'll be paying taxes. We need to get our farmers the people they need, otherwise our farmers aren't going to be able to do their land. You know, it was tried once before, many, many years ago, where there was a very strong guy, and he got everybody out, and every farm, almost in the country, but every farm in California, every farm in Iowa, almost all the farmers went bankrupt. They had nobody to work, and we don't want to have that situation. So we're going to work it, we're going to put our farmers and others in charge of the people that they have under them. They know the people, and I think it's going to work out really well. We're going to take care of our farmers, but we're going to get the criminals out. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Mr. President, how do you respond to critics who fear that a 3,000-bed detention center and the waste that could produce will pollute the surrounding federal protected land, including land that both administrations have invested billions of dollars in restoring?
Well, I was one of those that invested billions of dollars and hundreds of billions of dollars right here in the Meadowlands, but in the Everglades, and the Meadowlands too in New York. If you look at what we did up there, speaking of the Meadowlands, a lot of places like this, but this is a very unique one. One thing I'll say about this land, we'll be gone a million years in this land. It's going to be here. It's not going to be much different. You'll have the water monkeys, you'll have the alligators. You may not have people, but you can have all those animals that will be around. And you got plenty of them out there. I think it was a brilliant choice, and I think almost anybody in his or her right mind would say this was a brilliant choice. I give the governor a lot of credit for using this piece of land. In addition to that, it's on top of something that was already developed. It's an airport. Here you have the runways, so it's already been developed. So it's not like you're dropping dirt right into the thing. There was zero movement of that. That was done many years ago because the airport's very old, but it was an abandoned railroad, an abandoned airport. And frankly, it's like perfect. And you can do expansion on this site substantially without doing anything. So the people I heard that know plenty about the Everglades, there's no, I don't think you've done anything for the Everglades. I think you're just enhancing it. This was already here. How long has the airport been here?
Decades. Many decades. And they have, Kevin, all these guys, you know, have a waste plan, like the wastewater gets trucked out, potable water gets, literally they have, even our DOT has put things up in case there's any seepage if you don't. So you are literally doing this on concrete that's already here. So I don't think those are valid and even good faith criticisms because it's not going to impact the Everglades at all. The president's been a champion, we've been a champion, really changed the game in Florida on it. I think it's just people don't want to see illegal immigrants deported, and that's their ideology. They have a right to that, but illegal immigration is unpopular, so they know that they're going to have less effects. So they're going to say, oh, well, no, it's just about the Everglades. But really, I think a lot of those people, they just don't want to see illegals deported. Because if you actually hear everyone's here, you obviously know there's zero land that's being disturbed.
Well, you know, when we talk about popularity, I will say I ran on the issue of illegals and we have to get them out. And I won 82% of that issue. So I think that they may not like certain aspects of it, but ultimately they do not want them in their country. And this is a part of a use. But I think from an environmental standpoint, it's incredible. In fact, when we landed that very big, heavy plane today, they came out and checked it fairly. You know, I think they wanted the president to be able to land in a basic concrete. That's not going to go 6 feet underground. And they checked it. They came back and they said, this thing is really solid. So it's been there a long time. It's going to be here a long time. And it was a great choice to say, look at it. Yes, please. Brian, go ahead.
The people of Syria were recently seen on the streets waving American flags, chanting Trump, Trump, Trump. They're so appreciative of the economic sanctions that was lifted on that country, giving them a little bit of hope and prosperity. What a call.
Well, they're great people. And the man that is leading them has a reputation and is the head of some pretty tough organizations. And a lot of people criticized me for that and said, well, what are we going to do? Take him out of a day school, a country day school? By nature, I would think, Ron, he'll be pretty tough. And he is pretty tough. But I think if I met him, spent a lot of time with him, good guy. I took off the sanctions because if I didn't do that, they wouldn't have had a chance. And Syria has a chance. You know, the people are great. They work hard. They're very smart. It used to be a place of professionals, accountants, and lawyers, and doctors, and high academic credentials in that part of the world. And I think it's going to work out great. I took off the sanctions, and they were very appreciative. They were shocked, but they were very appreciative. We're giving them a chance at survival with the sanctions. It couldn't have worked. Thank you.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City. Your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zorhan Mandani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE. It will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zorhan Mandani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. We don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money, we send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per capita, Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. What are you giving? Yeah, well, that's what we should send him.
One way
Sometimes people say Florida gets more because they count Social Security recipients. That's not money for the state. Those are seniors that live here. If they move to North Carolina, you can count it there. So there's no interaction with the state government. They get more in the city and state governments than we get.
Substantially. We're going to be watching that very carefully. A lot of people are saying he's here illegally. You know, we don't know. And ideally, he's going to be more chance to that's not a socialist. You know, there's a union and socialism and stuff in the schools. This is what you need. And you a lot of them like that. And you see AOC, she's out there. Got it done in her she's out
8
there.
days, all the new facility was up and running,
so far he's right. It's not the race to win, but it can be. You don't always have land so beautiful and so secure. And a lot of bodyguards and a lot of cops that in the form of alligators, they don't have to pay them so much. I wouldn't want to run through the Everglades for long. To keep people where they're supposed to be. This is a very important thing. We're setting records at the board. You know, we have no made a statement to the effect that this is terrible. No people. But we're going to keep it that way. So Ron is right at the power.
Well, look, we thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for your leadership. The border, you did that quicker than you do it, but you did it so quick, which is great. But Biden let in how many millions, and you got to take care of that. And so this is one example of state operating this. The feds are approving it, supporting it. We're also going to have 2,000 more in Camp Landing, which is our National Guard site. And we're the only state in the country that mandates our state and local law enforcement to cooperate with ICE. Made a huge difference. On any given day, Florida constitutes about 20% of all immigration arrests nationwide.
Would you be open to that?
Yes, he has my approval.
What I would just say is, don't let Florida be doing this thing. We've got very red states that should be doing this just as much as Florida's doing. That will increase their numbers. And then what happens is, you'll have a lot of people that will report on their own because they don't want to end up in an Alligator, Alcatraz, or some of those other places. So I think this is a model, but we need other states to step up.
Jake Stillman, actually, Jax from up in Jacksonville. There's some talk about a facility similar to this up in Canada. Has that been approved by DHS? If not, what's the timeline? When we see that break?
For whatever reason, but the red states, Republican-run states are doing it. The blue states don't do very well at security. Policing, unfortunately. What would you say?
I would say that exactly right. The governor here has been fantastic at forming this partnership with the Department of Homeland Security. We were looking at different contracts with different vendors and thought, why not go straight to our governors and ask them to help us solve this problem. Florida was unique in what they presented to us, and I would ask every other governor to do the exact same thing. This is unique because we get a whole individuals here, they have their hearings, get the process, and
도널드 트럼프 알리게이터 알카트라즈 오프위드 트럼프 어텐션 했는데 오프했다는 내용이네. 플로리다 알리게이터
I can have a lot left over, they'll put it into the grid. I think, well, they're going to end up doing so much.
MBC News.
So we have a lot of that happening. We get approvals fast. But I was just saying, one was on before, but we'll get it now. But in the past, I would say for the past 31 years.
There may be, I think what we're doing is, because this is an important part of Florida, we're using the existing footprint of this airport. So when you guys go over there, you'll see all the beds, the medical, the galley, everything is on the concrete. We're not using any of the other stuff. Now, as you'll see, there's a lot of concrete, so there very well may be. I know Secretary Noem and her team have said, as soon as the president departs, we'll be open to start receiving folks. And so we'll see what the tempo is. We do have the 2,000 in Northeast Florida that will open very soon. So it is possible to do. One of the things I think that is exciting about this is we're offering up our National Guard.
도널드 트럼프 대통령과 크리스티 노엠 국토안보부 장관은 야 젊네. 국토안보부 장관이 크리스티 노엠인데 88이 생겼대야. 젊네. 화요일 플로리다 주지사 론 데산티스와 다른 주 지도자들과 함께 논란이 되고 있는 이민자 구금센터 개소식에 참석했습니다. 이민자 구금센터라고 하네. 이 구금센터는 인도주의적, 한정적 우위로 민주당 아메리카 원주민 지도자 활동가 단체의 강력한 반발에 승리했습니다. 무슨 카라반처럼 그렇게 생겼네. 젊네. 난 트럼프 딸자였어. 주 공화당 의원들이 비공식적으로 엘리게이터 알카트라즈라고 부르는 이 시설은 엘리게이터 엘리게이터 알카트라즈 섬인데 뭐 3자로 돼 있어? 5자야? 3자야? 알카트라즈라고 부르는 이 시설은 제임스 오스마이어 주 법무장관의 아이디어였습니다. 이 시설은 금요일 론 데산티스 주지사와의 푸시앤 프렌즈 인터뷰를 포함하여 전국적인 주목을 받았습니다. 트럼프 대통령이 착륙한 후 화요일에 데산티스는 활주로에서 엘리게이터 알카트라즈에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 그런데 그 이름이 마음에 드네요 라고 말했습니다. 트럼프 대통령 데산티스 노엠 및 기타 인사들은 화요일 오후 원톱 회의 참석했는데 대통령은 에버글레이즈와 같은 시설이 더 많은 주에 생기기를 바란다고 말했습니다. 트럼프 대통령은 새로운 시설을 식차하며 진짜 알카트라즈만큼이나 좋을지도 모른다고 말했다. 알카트라즈는 감옥인데 아주 처한 요새 탈출자 한 명. 그는 조금 영화에 나오잖아. 그는 조금 논란의 여지가 있지만 나는 별로 신경 쓰지 않는다고 덧붙였다. 데산티스는 이 시설 건설 추진을 플로리다주가 트럼프의 반이민 정책에 동조하려는 지속적인 노력이라고 설명했습니다. 그러나 트럼프 대통령이 직접 참석하기로 결정하면서 플로리다주 정부의 시설 운영 계획을 승인해야 하는 행정부로 초점이 옮겨갔습니다.
Some of the subjects we're talking about, I think the things we're talking about now is because if you don't have borders in this country, borders are good elections, so we'll want to back next. There's some bills coming in that's going to make sure that you're a citizen, that people want to contribute to the voting, they hear illegals and they put watching in their cases and they give an account, and you end up with extra Congress, and we're going to work it down.
소득 미비자로 지정한 사람들을 플로리다 폭염 속에서 뱀과 악어가 들끓는 늪지대 한가운데 그리고 허리케인 발생 위험이 높은 지역에 수용하는 것을 반대했습니다. 하지만 이러한 이유 때문에 우스마니아, 데산티스 그리고 다른 공화당 의원들은 이 시설이 필요하다고 주장했습니다. 이민자, 감옥이라는 것, 탈출 이런 내용. 플로리다 공화 당원들은 불법 이민자들이 플로리다로 이주하는 것을 막기 위해 열악한 환경을 억제하는 것이 목표라고 주장했습니다. 그런데요. 스스로 추가한다면 허리케인에 갇힐 일이 없을 것이라고 말했습니다. 그 가기스 타고 뻗대기니까 글로 간다, 보낸다 이런 내용입니다.
I know about it. We want to bring our elections back. The election in 2020 was millions and millions. It had to do with COVID and one thing, but it really had to do with the Democrats are very good at creating America.
국립보호구역을 불러요. 빅사이 플러스.
But after that 902, they gave up too big deal. Ron would love it.
플로리다 팬더.
That's what they have to do. They have to bring it back. And we have to look, Ron, they include anybody that happens to be in your state.
에버글레이즈 생태계.
would lose like 5 seats if they get a fair census. And even beyond that, the Biden census gives Florida
엘리게이터 알카트라즈 관련 상품을 판매하기 시작했다. 정치적 승산.
That could be the difference in the House of Representatives and the majority. So I would love for them to redo the census for 26. My legislature will be district right now, this country is not fairly apportioned. I've got so many more millions of people in Florida that have representation because of that flawed census.
Everybody wants it. It's going to get in, it's going to pass.
오징어 게임을 했어요.
Thank you very much, everybody. I don't think this should be playing that game.
And now we have age down the same numbers it was when I first came in. You know, we lowered the cost of groceries. A simple word like that, groceries, it's almost a strange word. I hadn't heard the word in so long, but what could be more beautiful than the word grocery? And we have the place to
신진상
put it in.
5화
We have the energy.
동그라미
Energy brought the groceries down, if you want to know the truth. You know, so we think we're going to get it lower, and we're going to fill out the national strategic. It's called the strategic national reserves. I had it topped out, and this guy would use them every time before the election. He'd use them whenever they had an election. It was artificial, but believe it or not, as big as that, tens of hundreds of millions of barrels of oil, all filled up at low prices. But it was meant for wars, and it wasn't meant for keeping your prices down during the holidays so that somebody didn't get elected. But they used it, and they didn't bring, the only mistake they made, they didn't bring it a little down, they brought it right down to the ground. The thing is perfect, they never filled it up, they never spent 10 cents on filling it up, and we'll do that. When the market is right, we'll fill it up on the market. But thank you. How about one more question? Okay, please.
Mr. President, is there an expected time frame that detainees will spend here, days, weeks, months? And does that have anything to do with the immigration judge you spoke about being trained and staffed here?
When you say,
Is there a specific time frame you expect the detainees to spend here? Days, weeks, months?
in Florida?
Yes, here in Europe.
This is my home state. I love it. I love the government. I love all the people in Israel. Very well. I mean, I'm not surprised that they do so well. Great people. Ron has been a friend of mine for a long time. I feel very comfortable in the state. I'll spend a lot of time. I want to, for 4 years, I've got to Washington. I'm okay with it. I love the White House.
브리핑하는 여자 젊은 애 백악관인데 머리 색깔이 다르네. 하나는 은발이고 하나는 갈색 머리네. 긴 머리에 갈색, 그리고 은발에 갈색에 다르네. 비슷해. 어떻게 보면 나중에는 다 비슷하게 생겼대. 생김이 다 비슷해.
I don't know what New York's going to do about that because some of the biggest, wealthiest people and some of the people that pay the most taxes and have people anywhere in the world for that matter, they're moving to Florida and other places. So we're going to have to help some of these states out, I think. But thank you very much. I'll be here as much as I can. Very nice question. With that, I'd like to just end by saying I want to thank Ron and James and all of the people that have done such a great job, all of your staff. Really fantastic work. And it really started with site selection. You could do a great job, but if you have the wrong site, you have the wrong site, you're dead. And this was a great site selection, despite what you may read in the environmental press. Good job. And this was an honor for Christy and myself and Steve and all of our people to be here. And I also appreciate the media. They've treated us very fairly. Over the last few weeks, I've been treated very nicely. And it's so unusual. I'm not used to it, but we've got great accolades. Brian, I want to thank you for calling out because I was waiting here because I knew the vote was taking place and I'm answering questions. So I want to thank you very much and say hello to our friend. And I will see a lot of you. Thank you very much. We're going to make America great again. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Well, thank you very much, everybody. This is a very important day. It's the name of the swearing Dr. Mehmet Oz as the next administrator of the Centers for Medicine and Medicaid Services, which is a big deal. Congratulations to Dr. Oz and his beautiful wife Lisa and their friends and family on this really incredible achievement. Dr. Oz comes to this position as one of the nation's most talented and beloved medical professionals. He graduated from Harvard University. Harvard. How convenient. Should we talk about Harvard? Before obtaining his MD at the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine. And really some amazing education while also earning an MBA from the wonderful Wharton School of Business. He completed his medical residency at the world-renowned New York Presbyterian Columbia University Medical Center. Dr. Oz then had a sterling medical career in which he became an internationally acclaimed heart and lung surgeon, highly respected. He served as director of the Cardiovascular Institute and Integrative Medicine Program at New York Presbyterian and as a full-time professor at the University's College of Physicians and Surgeons, Boyle. But he just did a show. I only know the show. You know why I know the show? Because he said, I'm a little overweight. I should lose some weight. I did the show, and that's what I got out of it. That was not good. But I'm looking at all of these things. It's very impressive. Dr. Oz authored more than 400 contributions to academic and scientific publications and hold several patents for technologies that revolutionize cardiovascular surgery. Dr. Oz later translated his experience into an extraordinary successful television.
야, 말 사역장같이 생겼대요.
Making him one of the most trusted voices in healthcare, and he also got very high ratings.
수용소야,
He did great with the television thing. As CMS Administrator, Dr. Oz will work tirelessly to strengthen and protect Medicare for our nation's seniors and Medicaid for the needy. Just as I promised, there will be no cuts. We're not going to have any cuts. Homeland Secretary Christine Dr. Oz will work to improve the quality of care for decades to come, and he'll ensure that criminals, fraudsters, and illegal aliens are not permitted to rob American seniors. They're trying, but they're not going to get away with it. He will also work alongside Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I've heard him. He's a pretty famous guy. He's doing a great job to address the crisis of chronic illness and to make America healthy again. So I want to just thank Dr. Oz. This is a big commitment he's making. It's a lot of how many days to do a big commitment.
낙사는 낙사.
Your family really an amazing life.
난 수용소 감기.
Violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act.
which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin. And if you read some of the content of the investigation, what they found, the majority of Jewish students reportedly experienced negative bias or discrimination on their campus, while a quarter of Jewish students at Harvard felt physically unsafe. Jewish and Israeli students were assaulted and spit on. They hid their kippahs for fear of being harassed and concealed their Jewish identity from classmates for fear of ostracization. Images were widely circulated amongst the Harvard community that trafficked obvious anti-Semitic tropes, including one that showed a dollar sign inside of a Star of David.
노엠이라고 하는 게 NOEM.
Including one that showed the Israeli
NOEM.
swastika.
노엠.
The Harvard campus was racked by demonstrations, as you all know, violent protests that violated the university's conduct.
KRISTI 크리스티 노엠 NOEM 노엠.
These are all facts that Harvard did not dispute, and that's why the administration has found them